Hi, my name is Jeannie, and welcome to the first episode of Bisaya in America. So, what is my podcast about? It's about my experience in America for the past 7 years. Some of them amazing, some of them not so amazing, and some of them weird and strange. And I'm gonna tell you all about it in my podcast. So for the first episode, I'm just going to introduce myself. So I'm Jeannie. I'm originally from the island of Cebu and the city of Cebu, which is found in the central Philippines. So the Philippines is a country of, I think right now, over 100 million people in the southeast of Asia. So we're 7,000 islands in the Pacific, and I happen to have lived in that tiny island called Cebu, which you can explore in a day. I think you can drive from tip to tip, from the north to south in a day, and that's how tiny it is. But it has over 2 million, 2.3, 2.9 million people, depending on your sources. So the island itself has a lot of people, but Cebu City in itself is like 900,000 or a million people in that small city. Cebu City in itself is really tiny, and there's a lot of people, all to Americans who have never been to Cebu and want to know what it's like. It's like Times Square. Basically, that's what it feels like. Times Square. There's so many people everywhere, and it's just like Times Square, 24 hours every day. And I think now with the lockdown and stuff, I'm sure people are not out and about. So I came to America 7 years ago as an immigrant, and it's been pretty interesting. And this podcast is going to explore that. Sometimes I'll talk about, humorous events that happened and experiences, the wacky experiences, the weird experiences, and sometimes the not so weird. And maybe I might even be serious. It's just about sharing what I've experienced so far. When I came to America, I came sometime in August 2021, 2013, and I came here with a Filipino. His name is Art. We did not know each other. We were basically forced to be shipped together to America as healthcare workers, and we were sponsored, and we have like immigrant visas or green card visas. And our first trip to America, our first flight was on a Delta flight. It was a long flight. I don't remember what we ate, but if I recall, the food wasn't that good, because it would pop out in my memory. So it wasn't that good. And when we first landed in, I think it was in Detroit, Michigan. So that was our first stopover. And our first meal was, unfortunately, a Taco Bell. And it wasn't very good. I've never had Taco Bell before. I'm sure there's a Taco Bell in Manila, in the Philippines, but I didn't go there. But this was my first Taco Bell in America. This was my first meal in America. And I think we chose a burrito or something, and it was not good. So I was like, and especially in an airport too, so probably it was the worst Taco Bell. So it was the worst first meal that we have had, and it was like, okay, so this isn't as good as we expected, but we're hopeful people, and hopefully our second meal is going to be better. And after that, from Detroit, we were shipped to Baltimore, where eventually we settled for 3 months until we were deployed to different places. So the first 3 months was really interesting because we literally did not know anything about America, and everything was new, and we didn't know how big America was. In my mind, I thought that, I want to go to LA and Hollywood, or I want to go to California. I didn't know that you can't walk or drive there. I mean, you could drive there, but it would take you over a day or 26 hours, or I don't know. It would be at least 3,000 miles. So I didn't have that mindset yet, because in the Philippines everything is so close. I lived in an island with 10-15 minutes without traffic, of course. You're gonna be in the mall. So that was my mindset. I didn't know how big America was, and I think even Americans don't have any clue how big America is, because a lot of the Americans they just settle in the states that they're in, and not many people really travel outside. I'm sure there's millions of Americans that travel outside, but I've literally met Americans that have never gone to the places in the states I've been to. So Art, and he eventually became my close friend. So we are joined at the hip now, and we actually would have celebrated our first anniversary, or not first, seventh year anniversary this year, and we were planning on it. I was going to go to Chicago. I already bought or made reservations, but unfortunately, because of the coronavirus, we were not able to celebrate our 7th year anniversary in America. So maybe next year, or maybe the year after that, and maybe in 10 years we'll be able to have our 10th year anniversary. So the first 3 months was really nice, because expectation was not catching up to reality yet. So the reality of what America is about hasn't hit us yet. We really thought that America was a magical place, it was wonderful. And so the first 3 months, a Filipino friend and Filipino friends toured us to Washington DC and the Baltimore Inner Harbor and nearby Virginia. So those places, it was really nice, and I really enjoyed going to Washington DC. And in fact, on my first time in Washington DC, I was so excited, and I had my picture taken in front of the White House. Unfortunately, now you can't have your picture taken there close to the gate anymore, because the last time I was there, which was 2 years ago, there was a sniper on the roof, and there were protesters. So you cannot go near the gate and have your picture taken anymore. So that's really kind of sad. And Washington, the White House doesn't have that much appeal to me anymore, not like it used to, because, when you say White House, it's like, oh, the President of the United States, and you have that, that deep respect for that position of the land, the highest position of the land. But unfortunately, as you well know, with the things that's been going on, that hasn't been the case. So first 3 months, amazing. We went to medieval times, if you like jousting. And unfortunately, I went to medieval times a couple more times, but I think 2 more times in Jersey. And the menu is the same. It's like chicken and half a chicken, and I think it was barbecue ribs. It's really good, but if it's the same menu, it's like, okay, what else is new? So the jousting was fun, and to those that have not been to medieval times, you should go. It's exciting. I mean, not now, but after the coronavirus pandemic ends, for sure. And me and Art and I did not own a car yet, and I think I wasn't planning on buying a car yet at that time. I really wanted to save up for it, and we had to walk to the mall, which took us around 40 minutes. It was over I think it was two miles or so it was not that far, but it was also not that close if you walk. And luckily for us, a neighbor named Michelle, and I still keep in touch with her, she actually took pity on us, and she said, oh, poor thing, you guys don't know how to ride the bus. And so she taught us how to ride the bus and the routes and where to get on and off and the times of the bus. I think, in fact, we went with her the first time because we literally had no clue. Like, I had no clue. That was my first bus ride. I mean, like the American bus ride, because it's different back home. Back home, it's just a straight ride, but in America, it loops. So there's a route. So it was my first bus ride, and luckily, an American neighbor, she was really sweet and helped us out. And she also would give us food from time to time. I think she was thinking we were starving, which is nice. She was really sweet. And since we didn't have a car, we went to the mall and we walked to the mall. It was like, and the mall was like not as big as we thought it would be. And because in the Philippines, the mall is the go-to place. It's like the mall is the place, that's the place you go to eat food, to go out with your friends, to go out on movies and stuff. But in America, it's not many Americans really go to the mall, especially nowadays. I mean, even before the corona pandemic, the malls are not jam-packed with people, not like in the Philippines where you're shoulder to shoulder with people. There's literally like a lot of people in the mall. It's like Times Square. So first weird experience in America was when we had we were drug tested for our work, and a dude approached me and asked to buy my pee. He said, "Can you pee in the cup and I'll pay you $20?" And I was so freaked out. I said, "Okay, that is an unusual request. I have never had someone ask me for my pee before, and to pay for my pee. That was unusual." So I slowly inched away from him, and I said, I think I said no, and then I slowly inched away from him, and I told Art and a representative of our employer, about it, and he just laughed and he said, that was funny. For me, it was freaky. I was like freaked out. I said, why would someone buy my pee for $20? But looking back, I should have sold it for $20. I mean, that $20 is $20. You can buy 4 Starbucks coffees with that one, right? And you can buy stuff on Amazon. So just looking back, and I know that dude probably needed work, and most probably he was a druggie. He needed a woman. And how did he know, though, that I was a drug-free? Maybe I looked innocent, but I could just be a druggie as like a bigger druggie than he was. And he would have wasted $20 on me. So yeah, it was really strange, and that was and I've had a lot of strange experiences in America. You cannot imagine how many. And it was like reality and expectation was starting to not mesh well, because I had that expectation of America that it was the land of milk and honey. It was like the land where dreams come true. And unfortunately, the reality of America is not the same as my expectation of America. Although I love living here in America, and it's been exciting, but reality and expectation have not, or my expectations of America have not really meshed well. So why did I often get asked this, why did I leave my home country? Why did I go to America? And I think everybody has personal reasons, and my reason is I just really wanted to explore the world, and I was most qualified to live and work in America with my credentials and my coursework and stuff like that. I had a choice between living and working in Canada, Australia, or the UK, but it would I think they required me to go back to school another 4 years, and I was like, I don't think I want to do that. So America made sense, and also I know America because I speak the language, and the Philippines was part of America before, not a long time ago. We were a territory, and we were a colony, essentially. And I know the culture, and I have an uncle that lives in America, so that ties to America. It made perfect sense. And also one of the reasons I left is that I don't know, it's just, I'm different from my family, I guess. I come from a family of lawyers. My brother, my father, my sister, they're all lawyers. And my mom, who passed away 5 years ago, she wasn't a lawyer, but she needed one. Lots of it. Anyway, joking aside, I didn't want to join that family business, if you can call that a family business. I didn't want to join it. Although I love to read and read books, I think that it would have been torture for me to read law books. That would have been really, like, it would be torture. And I'm not that type of person. I don't like to argue with people. It's just like, I want to educate people, but I don't want to like argue my point and stuff. And I'm the first one to give up. I'm like, I can't convince you. Bye. So I'm not really lawyer material. Although I did enjoy shows on U.S. shows like Boston Legal, Ally McBeal. What else? The Practice. I really love The Practice. Those shows are wonderful, but it's different, when you're a lawyer compared to a TV, the depiction of lawyers on TV. It's much more exciting. And based on what I can see with my family, it's not that exciting. It's just a lot of paperwork. Essentially, it's paperwork, and dealing with bureaucracy and dealing with whatever. And it's not me. And my sister used to say that I was the black sheep in the family. And I was just looking back now. I said, why black sheep? Why not a blue sheep? Why not a pink sheep? I definitely should have a choice of choosing a color. But I was like, I never really wanted to fit in a box. And my sister was always telling me, oh, you're doing so many things, like I would take photography, I would take, script writing and cooking, and I'm into a lot of things, and that's just me. I want to be an interesting person. I want to be that type of person where you cannot put me in a box and pinpoint what exactly that I do, because I do a lot of things, and I want that in life. And just for me, my philosophy is that you should always explore, try out new things, and try out what interests you. So photography, videography, podcasting, writing, Right now, I am a self-published author. So I have books, and you can check them out. I'll put them in the show note links. I love romance. I love to write romantic comedies because I like more humor and comedy in life. And it's really interesting. I find that comedy and humor, it adds value to people's lives. So, yeah, you can even say I'm also a comedian, And it's that, like, because I don't want to stay in one place and in one tiny island. It was just too small for me, the town, the city where I lived, it was just too tiny to contain me and to contain my ambitions, probably. And I'm always one of those people that I really want to explore, and I'm really glad I made that giant leap to go to America by myself and just do my own thing and just redefining myself as I see fit. And it's been exciting so far, and that's the reason why I'm in America, because I wanted to just explore the world, and here I am. I'm in America, and it's been an interesting ride for sure. It really has been an interesting ride. So if you are Bisaya and you're listening to it, or if you're Filipino and you're listening to this podcast, what was your first experiences in America? What were your impressions, and what was reality what was your expectations of America versus the reality of America, and did it mesh? Did America meet your expectations, or did it disappoint you, or did it not disappoint you? Tell me about it. Tell me about your experiences, and you can email me at homeofjeannie@gmail.com and send your first experiences of America, like what was it like? And to those that are Americans or other who are listening to this one, it's always good to have a fresh perspective of what or how other people from other countries view America, especially from an immigrant like me that sees America in a different perspective, in a different light. And it makes it interesting, and it makes life more colorful. And I think that's why in my cover design of my podcast, I put a lot of colors there, because it's been colorful so far. My experience in America has been colorful. And that's it. This is the first episode of my podcast, Bisaya in America. Do email me, and I have Instagram, and I will put it on the show notes, and you can email and follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well. And thank you very much for listening, and hope you enjoy the following shows that I'm going to be producing. Thank you, and goodbye.